Hey everyone, hope you're all doing great. Myself Jivita. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to discuss about Python loops. You know what is loops? Loops are nothing but loop in our programming is a way to repeat set of instructions or maybe the actions multiple times without writing the same code again and again. It's just like telling the computer, hey, keep doing this task until you are told to stop. So, what do you mean by that? So, loops are basically used whenever you want to repeat any particular task multiple times. Instead of repeating the instructions multiple times, we just do it one time. The simple understanding of a loop is, let's say, for example, you want to prepare a tea. For the first time, you will ask your mom in order to know the recipe related to like how to prepare a tea. First time she'll teach you. So next time if you go and ask, she'll scold you like, I have taught you yesterday, why can't you remember? So basically what we do, we learn from our mom and we remember it. And every time whenever we need to prepare a tea, we just recall it and we just prepare it. So same way the loops are going to work whenever you want to repeat a set of instructions or maybe the actions without repeating the same code multiple times. We just use a concept called as a loops. And in order to learn this loops, you should have a knowledge of iterators. You know, iterator is nothing but an object that contains countable number of values. List, tuple, set, dictionary, string, range, enumerate, these are all iterators because they hold a multiple values. Let's say, for example, you want to print hello 5 times. So usually, how do you print hello 5 times? This is how we do. So we just print hello one time and we try to repeat the same code multiple times. Like I want it for 5 times, so I'm just running, so it will give me hello 5 times. Now the question is, what if you want to print hello 100 times, 1,000 times? Do you repeat the code multiple times? Do you think it makes sense? Actually, no, right? One more thing. I have a list of colors. I want to fetch the first element. We know how to fetch first element color, so we just use index and 0. So it's giving me first element. What if I want to fetch all the elements like one by one? Obviously, I have to repeat the code. Look at both the examples. For printing 5 times hello, we are repeating a code. And if I want to fetch multiple elements like one by one, again I have to repeat it. See, color of 0 is giving me blue color. Similarly, I just need to repeat color of 1. Again, I'm repeating my code, which is going to give me green color. So, how to avoid this repetition of writing a code or writing an instructions? That's where we have a concept called as a loops. Imagine printing hello 100 times, finding square of 100 numbers, fetching all elements of a list one by one. All these things without a loop would definitely be like, you have to write same code repeatedly, but with the help of a loop, you can write the instructions once and your computer will handle the repetition for you. That's an interesting thing about, loops. Okay, so basically there are two different types of loops. One is a for loop and another one is a while loop. So first let's explore for loop in this video. For loop is nothing but it's a type of loop in a programming that basically repeats a block of code for each item in a collection or maybe each item in a iterable object. It's great for when you know how many times you want to repeat an action. For loop is simple. If you have iterable objects like list, tuple, set, if you want to take each element of your object, in that case, we just go with a for loop. Okay, it's great when you know how many times you want to repeat an action. If you know like when to start, when to stop, in that case, for loop is always the best option. So now you might have a question, how does the for loop is going to work? Very simple. The for loop goes through each item in a sequence, probably list, tuple, set, dictionary, range, set, something like that, one at a time, and runs the code inside the loop for every item. For loop takes each element in a sequence, one at a time, and runs the code inside the loop for every item. So look at the general syntax, and with examples you will understand it better. General syntax is something like this. For a for loop, we always start with a for and we use an item in collection or maybe the sequence. These are all iterable objects. And then finally, we print an item. So, what this for loop is doing, for is responsible for taking each item in a collection. So, taking each item in collection and then printing that particular item. Let's say, for example, you want to find square of a number. Usually, what we do, let's say number is 3, I want to find square of 3. What we do, we just use like a double asterisk, sorry, 2. A double asterisk 2 is going to give us a square of a number which is like 3 square 9, right? So now what if I want to find square of each numbers in a given list? In that case, you have to make use of a for loop. Look into the syntax and according to that, let's manipulate. So for, start with a for, an item is going to be, I'll take it like a variable x. In, what is the collection here? First important thing, you have to define your list, which is a is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let me see for x in A. For x in A means it is going to take every element in a collection one at a time. Once you start a for loop, it has to be closed with a colon and then enter it. So to write any statements related to a for, unlike conditionals, even this takes an indentation. Okay, now I just want to print value of x. X is a variable. It's like an item which is taking a single value from A at a time and it is going to print that for you. See, now it is going to print all the values in a list one by one. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But my question is to find square of each number. We know to find square of each number, we just use double asterisk. Use same thing with this also, x double asterisk 2. So what it will do, at a time it will take one element and it will find square of that number. So now the question is how many times this loop is going to work. Like how exactly this loop is going to work. See, I'll show like how the loop works. First, it will start with x is equal to 1. It will take x equals 1. It will find 1 square and it will give you 1 for you. Done. It will go to the next iteration. Next step in the sense like next iteration, it will take the next element which is x is equal to 2. And then it's going to find 2 square which is going to be 4. Then it is going to be like x is equal to 3. It will take the next element and it's going to give us 3 square which is 9. Then we start with x is equal to 4. Next element, next iteration. And then it will try to find the square of 4 which is 16. Finally, the last element in our list is basically the 5. And then it's going to find square of 5 which is 25. And it will stop the loop. Done. Stop it. So you can clearly understand here, for loop is responsible for taking one element at a time, and whatever instructions we write it in a using indentation, that instruction is applied on every element of a list. You can see it's finding square of each element, taking every element from a list and finding square of a number. That's an interesting thing about a for loop. And how many times this loop is running? So 5 times. The number of elements you have, so many times the loop is going to work. Hope it's clear. Okay. Same thing here, print x double asterisk 2 is like a block of code which is repeating on every element of a collection. This is my actual logic. This is my instruction which is getting repeated for every element of a list. So list is a collection, for is a statement used for repetition of a task, x is a variable which takes one element at a time from a given collection, that is a list, and in is a membership operator which is responsible for taking an element from specific collection. Okay, so now let's do few examples like how can we loop through a list. Very simple. Just use like for x in A, print x. It's going to loop through a list. Done. Similarly, you can also loop through a tuple. You can see we have tuple of colors like blue, green, pink. I want to loop through a tuple. Yes, it's possible. For x in B, just print x. It's going to give you all the elements of a tuple one by one. This is looping through a tuple. Similarly, what if you want to loop through a set? You can try for x in A, print x. See, looping through a set. Every time it is taking one element at a time and it is printing for you. Next one, like looping through a string is also possible, even it has a multiple values, right? So I'll just see for text, for x in text, I'll ask it to print x. See, it will give you each character one by one. Every time it is taking one character and it is printing for you. Looping through something. And then what if you want to loop through a dictionary? Yes, you can try looping through dictionary as well. Let's see, I'll say for x in A, print x. By default, it just gives you keys. What if you want a values? In that case, you can just use like, a dot values. So a dot values will give you, a dot values will take a tuple because of generating values, no? See, it's giving only values out of that dictionary. So similarly, what if you want only the keys? Just use a dot keys for a same code. Yes. So we have studied all these methods in our dictionary. I hope you remember. And then what if you want a tuple of key and a value? Then you can just use like items. A dot items will give you tuple of key and a value. This is how you loop through a dictionary. Next important thing, what if you want to print the first 5 numbers? So how do you print the first 5 numbers or first 100 numbers? Very simple. Just use for loop. For x in, use a range. Range is a function which we use to generate numbers, right? So for x in range, I want first 5 numbers, so I'll say 1 to 6 because in our range, end value is not included, right? So I'll say print x. So it's going to generate values from 1 to 5 for me, wherein end value is not included in this case. So what if I want to print only the even numbers? So I can just use for x in a range of, I'll start from 2, I want it till 11 because 10 should be included, and I'll specify step as a 2 and then try to print x. See, this is how you can print numbers. You can print any numbers, you can give any range of values. It's up to you. Okay. Next important question is, write a program to print even numbers from a given list. So very simple. First, I'll use a for loop in order to loop through a list. See, I'm just using for x in a print x. So it is looping through all the elements in a list. So now what we have to do, we just need to print only even numbers. Only even numbers in the sense, don't you think I have to use a condition? How do you write a condition? We use an if statement. Okay, using if. So here every element is x. X is representing each element. So I'll write condition related to x. If x modulo 2 is equal to 0, that's a condition for even number. If x modulo 2 is equal to 0, and also look into the indentation, you have to follow the spacing. If x modulo 2 is equal to 0, finally it has to print x. See, it will print only the even numbers. It will print only the even numbers. Okay. So next, one more interesting thing. Same thing, previously in our conditionals, we were checking for single value, like, whether it's a positive number, negative number, or even number, odd number. Now we are checking for multiple values. That's the only difference. So now we need to classify number as positive, negative, or a zero. So what I'll do, I'll just make use of a for loop. In this case, if you want to understand the logic, see, like first it will start with, taking value like x is equal to 1. Okay, it will check, so clearly condition fails. X is equal to 1, condition fails because 1 is not an even number. Then it takes x equals 2, which is true. It will print a 2 for you. Then it will take x is equal to 3. 3 is not an even number, condition fails. So similarly, x is equal to 4. It will print a 4 because even. X is equal to 5, odd number, condition fails. X is equal to 6, even number, it's going to give us 6. X is equal to 8, sorry, for 7, it's going to fail. The condition will fail. It's not an even number. And similarly, for x is equal to 8, it will print because even. X is equal to 9, it will fail because 9 is an odd number. And finally, x is equal to 10, it will print 10. So that's the reason we got an output like, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I'm just showing like how it works in our backend. Understand like this so that, it becomes easy for you to learn a programming. Hope it's clear. Okay. Next important thing, we need to classify numbers as positive, negatives, or a zero. So I'll just use for loop. So I'll say for x and b. Okay, I'll start writing a logic like, if x is greater than 0, we have to print like, I'll just use a format. Okay, so it has to print x is positive. We all know that if number is greater than 0, it has to be positive number. Then I'll use an elif. I'll say if x is less than 0, it has to print. You know why I'm using elif? Because 3 conditions are there. So I'll just use format. I'll say x is negative. Then finally, else condition, it has to print x is 0. It has to print x is 0. See? Can you see? Taking one element at a time, and it is checking is it positive, negative, 0, and it is returning value. So wherever it's a positive, it's giving like, okay, number is positive. Wherever it's like negative, it's giving like negative. For 0, it's giving like a 0. This is how for loop works to apply your conditionals on every element of your list. Hope you are understanding. So final question. Write a program and print all positive numbers and store them in a list. So I have to store results in a list. That is all the positive numbers, I have to store them in a list. So I'll just call it A is equal to empty list. And then I'll just make use of a for loop for x and b. I'll just write a condition that if x is greater than 0, so I want to print x. See, if I say print x, it will take every element. It will take every element in a B and it will check is it greater than 0. If S, it's going to print for you. But I want the result in a list format. So how to get it in a list format? How to get in a list format? How to get in a list format? So for that, what I'll do, I'm just creating an empty list for x and b. If x is greater than 0, instead of printing x, what I'll do, I'll just call my empty list and I'll use a method called as an append. You know, append is a method which is used to add an element at the end of a list. Every time I'll take a x value from b and I'll check the condition. If it's greater than 0, I just want to append that value into a x. See, done. Now finally, just come out of your indentation and finally after appending all the elements, you have to print A like this. See, it's giving you a list of all the positive numbers. Now you might have a question like how it's working. See, I'll just show you how it's working. Simple. It will start with first element x is equal to 10. So clearly positive number. So it will get added into the list. Okay, done with the first iteration. So next number is x is equal to 20. So it's a positive number. So again, it's going to get added into the list. Okay, done. What happens with the third iteration? Third iteration, x is equal to minus 40, which is a negative number. Your condition fails. Condition fails means we have to move to the next condition, which is x is equal to next value. That is, x is minus 16. Again, condition is going to fail here. Similarly, next one, you can see minus 70. Even for minus 70, the condition will fail. Fails. And then for 100, 2, 3, 4, 0, 8, 9 and all, they're all positive. So it will get added. And then for minus 2, it fails. That's the reason you're getting final list just like, in our list format, which includes all the positive numbers like 10, 20, 100, 2, 3, 4, 0, 8, 9. These are the numbers which basically satisfies your given condition. 0 should not be included because we say positive number only if it's a greater than 0. So this is all about, introduction to for loop. What is for loop? How it works with a syntax and also how we can use for loop in order to loop through different iterable objects. I hope this is clear. So more about for loop, like some practice questions, interesting questions, we'll do it, next video. If you have understood my video, if you have understood the concept, make sure you subscribe to my channel and click on my bell icon so that you don't really miss out the updates related to my channel. Thank you. Happy learning.